today we are going to be looking at the continents of the world and famous world leaders. Continents of the world and the famous world leaders. Now, this is Asia continent. Can you see the image? This is Africa. Nigeria is in Africa. Nigeria is in West Africa. This is the image of North America. This is North America. This is the image of South America. Image of South America. And this is Europe. Then the last but not the least is the Australia. Then finally you have the Antarctica. These are the 7 continents of the world. These are the 7 continents of the world. First of all, we did the 5 oceans of the world in our last class. So we talked about the Pacific Ocean. All the continents of the world are bordered with oceans. So we have the Indian Ocean, we have Atlantic Ocean, then we have the Southern Ocean. Okay, then today we are going to learn about the continents of the world and famous world leaders. But first we are going to start learning this continent one by one. So what's a continent? A continent is a large mass of land. Yes, a continent is a large mass of land. First, the world has 7 continents. Like I told you earlier, 7 continents. So the world has 7 continents. So how many continents are there in the world? 8? No, 7. Yes. So there are 7 continents in the world. And I hope you can say them without beating an eyelid. Let's start with North America. Okay, let's list them. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, and Antarctica. So these are the 7 continents of the world. Let's learn the continents one by one. So first, we are going to start with the North America. American continent got its name from an Italian navigator, Amerigo Vespucci. Okay, so the 4 countries that make up the northern continent, okay, North America, we say Canada, USA. So North America is the 3rd largest continent. North America is the 3rd largest continent. The 1st largest one is Asia, followed by Africa. So North America is the 3rd largest continent. So the people who originally lived in North America are called Native Americans. So North America has all the animals, the biomes: desert, grassland, forest, aquatic, and tundra. So a biome is that habitat which has natural environment for all living things. So North America has a biome, okay, which includes desert. So like I told you earlier, remember that North America is at the top left of the world map. So the image before you is the world map that has the 7 continents. So North America is the top. The next one is South America. South America, okay? Now the Amazon is the largest rainforest in the world and is located in South America. Now we have countries in South America like Brazil, Venezuela, Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay, Trinidad and Tobago. All these are countries in South America. Then there are large cities. There's Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. Now, South America is the 4th largest continent in the world. So the 3rd largest was North America. Then the 4th is South America. So the South American people, they speak Spanish, are mostly Catholics. Brazil is the largest country in South America, and it is more than half the size of the whole continent. So like I told you, you have Brazil, you have Colombia, you have Argentina. These are countries. Uruguay, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago. These are countries in South America. South America is home to, okay, the Amazon River. Like I told you, the Amazon is the largest rainforest in the world and is located in South America. So the Nile River in Africa is longer than the Amazon. So the Nile River in Africa is longer than the Amazon, okay? So the longest river in South America is the Amazon River. So remember that South America is at the bottom left of the world map. So it's under North America, as you can see the image of the world, okay? So now the next is Europe. Let's talk about Europe. Mount Elbrus is the highest mount in Europe and is located in Russia. Okay, so this is the image of Europe. Can you see the map? It's in orange color at the top. okay, top middle of the world map. So we say that Europe is the second largest, smallest continent. Yes, Europe is the second smallest continent. Volga is the longest river in Europe and is located too in Russia. So we said Mount Elbrus is the highest mountain in Europe and Volga is the longest river. So Europe is the only continent that does not have a desert biome. Like we said, desert biome is that environment that has natural habitat for living things. Okay, now European countries are Germany, Italy, France, United States. So 80% of Europe was once covered in forest, but now only 3% of Europe is covered in forest. So that is why we say it doesn't have a desert, doesn't have a biome. So European cities are Moscow, London, Berlin, Rome, Paris. Remember, I told you that Europe is at the top middle of the world map. Europe is at the top middle. You can see the arrow pointing to the top middle of the world map. So that's the location of Europe. Africa. Wow. Yes, we are in Africa. Nigeria is in Africa. Okay, Africa is our home and Nigeria is in West Africa. There are countries in Africa: Ghana, Congo, Kenya, Uganda, Botswana. All these are countries in Africa. Africa is in the middle right of the map. Africa is the second largest continent after Asia. Okay, then we have physical features like the Nile River, Sahara Desert. We have the Great Rift Valley, Niger River, Benue River, Kalahari Desert. We have 54 countries in Africa. So the majority of people living in Africa live in rural areas instead of cities. Okay, now the countries the Nile River flows through are Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo. Like I told you earlier, we have 54 countries in Africa: Ethiopia, Sudan, Nigeria, Mali, Niger, Algeria. Remember, I told you earlier that Africa is in the middle of the world map. Can you see the image? The arrow is pointing to the image of Africa. So anywhere you see this image, know that it is Africa. Asia. Asia. Hope you watch Chinese films. Have you seen the people of Asia, the way they look? Oh, yes. So Asia is the largest continent. Asia is the largest continent. Have a very big landmass. Himalayas and the Kulon Mountains are in Indian Asian continent. They are the highest mountains there. Okay. Now, Asia is the largest continent, like I told you. The roof of the world too can be found in Indian. Like I told you, the Himalayas are the world's highest mountain. So Asia has more people living there than any continent in the world. Okay, the world is 6 billion people total, but Asia has over 4.2 billion people. So you see, there's a lot of population in Asia. And talk about Indian, talk about Chinese, the Philippines, okay? So these are countries in Asia. These are countries in Asia: China, Indonesia, and so on, South Korea. So, like I said, remember that Asia is at the top right of the world map. Look at the arrow pointing to Asia continent. We call them the Middle East often. Now we look at Australia. Australia is another continent, okay? Australia is another continent. It means southern continent, always down. Look at the image, it's in a orange color. It's at the bottom right corner of the most world map. You can see it there. So Australia is the smallest continent, or you can call it Australia or Oceania. Oceania, okay? It's the smallest continent. The capital city of Australia is Canberra. Canberra. Australia also has the fewest countries. It only have it's divided into 5 territories. Australia is divided into 5 territories. Australia's major landform includes the Great Australian Desert. Okay, it has more sheep than people. There are more sheep in Australia than people. It's a very cold place. It is down, down, down below the southern hemisphere. Okay, so Australia major landform, like I said, is their desert there, and is a home to many unique animals like the kangaroos and the koalas. Have you seen a kangaroo? Kangaroos carry their babies in their pouch. Okay, their pouch is like their stomach. Now, I told you that Australia is at the bottom right of the world map. Can you see the arrow pointing to Australia there? The last but not the least is the Antarctica. This is the continent that has there's no permanent resident there, like there's no land form there. In Antarctica, people are not living there. It's more of ice. Antarctica is a frozen continent and one of the coldest places on earth. Is the least populated continent. Yes, Antarctica is 98% ice. Imagine, can you stay in such an environment? Look at it now, ice. Receive visitors but no permanent resident. Okay, now it is the only continent that humans do not live on, although some scientists stay there for short periods of time to conduct experiments. Okay, so Antarctica has been referred to as a cold desert. It's the only continent completely covered in ice. You have animals like penguins there, okay, and some big water animals, okay. It's very close to the Indian Ocean there. Like I told you, Antarctica is at the top bottom of the world map. So Antarctica is at the south pole of the world map. Now let's look at famous world leaders. Let's look at famous world leaders. These leaders have impacted greatly into their various nations and the world at large. So let's look at them. We have George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, Emperor Haile Selassie, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela of South Africa. So we shall be taking these leaders and their achievements or what they stood for one by one. Now, all these leaders in their time had great impact in their nations and they fought for one cause or the other. Some fought to stop slavery, some fought to stop apartheid racism, that is people not recognizing black, taking white over the black. So it was some of them lost their lives in the course of this struggle. First, let's start with George Washington. Okay, he lived 1732 to 1799. That is like 700 years ago. That's like 300 years ago. George Washington is famous for being the father of American independence. He was the first president of the United States of America. So George Washington was born on his father's estate in Westmoreland in Virginia in 1732. So like I told you, he's the father of American independence. He fought so that Americans could gain their independence from Britain. It was the British that colonized America, but today America is world superpower. So George Washington was an American political leader, military general, statesman, founding father who served as the first president of the United States of America. Now the next person is Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States of America. He's one of the greatest leaders in the world history. He's famous for fighting to end slavery in America. So Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809 and he died in 1865. Okay, so he was an American politician, a lawyer who served as the 16th president of the United States from March 1861 until his assassination in April 1865. So all these are people who have fought for the good of America. So Lincoln led the nation through his greatest moral, constitutional, and political crisis in American Civil War. Okay, so Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809 in a small wooden cabin in Kentucky, USA. Okay, he never had much formal education. Abraham Lincoln educated himself by reading books. He said that on a trip down the Mississippi River in 1831, he witnessed a slave auction. So he vowed to himself that it will never happen. So he fought against slavery. The next person we want to look at is Mahatma Gandhi. This is an Indian man, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi is a revered worldwide as a nationalist and social reformer. Okay, Mahatma is a word used in India to refer to a person held in the highest esteem for their wisdom and saintliness. So Mahatma Gandhi successfully secured freedom for Indians by being truthful and honest. He fought against the tyrannical rule of the British. He fought the British silently and being non-violent. Okay, most often he will go on hunger strike. So he was schooled in South Africa where this racism was so pronounced. But when he came back to India, he fought the British. He was also a very good reformer. So he was dressing like, he used to dress like the English people, but by the time he came down to India, he started dressing like the Indian. So he uh, helped the Indians to gain their independence in 1947 from the British. So Gandhi was a good man. Now let's look at Emperor Haile Selassie. Emperor Haile Selassie. Okay, Haile Selassie was a good ruler. He supported policy of modernization for Ethiopia. He also secured Ethiopia's admission to the League of Nations. Now, in 1931, he abolished the slave trade in the Ethiopian Empire, and that same year, he introduced Ethiopia's first written constitution. But in 1935, Italy invaded Ethiopia, which led to Haile Selassie spending 5 years in exile in England. He only returned to Ethiopia in 1941 after the Italians were defeated by British and Ethiopian forces. Now, the Rastafarians of Jamaica believe that, have you seen the Rastafarians, their images? So they believe that Haile Selassie was an incarnation of God. So they believe in him, they love him so much. Okay, so that is Haile Selassie, Emperor Haile Selassie. Let's look at Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. This was the man that changed the name Gold Coast. Before, the name wasn't Ghana, it used to be called Gold Coast, but Kwame Nkrumah changed it to Ghana. He's a Ghanaian nationalist leader who led the Gold Coast drive for independence from Britain, because it's the same Britain that colonized Ghana that still colonized us, Nigeria. So we had nationalists in Nigeria that helped to fight against the British, and we had independence. So Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana helped to secure Ghana's independence from the Britain, and he presided over its emergence as the new nation of Ghana. So he headed the country from independence in 1957 until he was overthrown by a coup in 1986. So Kwame Nkrumah was born in the town of Nkruful in what was then the Gold Coast in 1909. Okay, so he attended his school in Accra, Ghana, and went to a missionary school. So Kwame Nkrumah spent his last years in exile. Now let's look at Martin Luther King. You probably have heard of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, "I have a dream." He sparked hope and change in America during the civil rights movement. He's well known for his public speaking, but also his nonviolent ways as a leader. Without Martin Luther King Jr., racial equality and the society we have today may not have been possible. As a result of his inspiring actions, the famous world have gotten all it had in terms of racial discrimination. So Martin Luther King fought against racism in America, but finally he was shot. He was shot when he went to help some persons that were being marginalized. They were underpaid. So they targeted him and they shot him. The next person is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela. This famous world leader, okay, should be one that you're familiar with. I don't know, most of you have heard about the word Nelson Mandela. He was the first democratically elected president of South Africa. Okay? Now, he is commonly known for his fight against racial discrimination, which put him in prison for a long time, yet his intentions were never swayed or altered. So upon his release from prison, South Africa became free and everyone was entitled to a better future, as every person was considered to be equal. Okay, so Nelson Mandela actually fought for the freedom of South Africans. He fought against racism, that is apartheid. Thanks for watching this video, and please, you will ensure to do your video submissions and upload your assignments properly. Thanks for joining me in this lesson, and be good.